This two-book series uncovers what you and your family need to know concerning the end times. A 900-year-old vision that was hidden until now in the Vatican Library predicted the exact year of the 112th Pope. This vision declares that Pope Francis could be the final Pope presiding during the Great Tribulation. During his reign, Rome would be destroyed, and the final judgment will come.
This next Pope is likely to play a role in helping to establish the kingdom of the Antichrist, the destruction of Rome.
And I heard another voice from heaven saying, "Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues. For her sins have reached unto heaven, and God had remembered her iniquities. How much she glorified herself and lived deliciously, so much torment and sorrow give her. For she said in her heart, I sit a queen, I am no widow, and shall see no sorrow. Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death, and mourning, and famine, and she shall be utterly burnt with fire, for strong is the Lord God who judgeth her." And the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her shall bewail her and lament for her when they shall see the smoke of her burning. Standing afar off for the fear of torment, saying, "Alas, alas, that great city Babylon, that mighty city, for 1 hour is thy judgment come." And the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her, for no man buyeth their merchandise any more. And saying, "Alas, alas, that great city that was clothed in fine linen and purple and scarlet and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls." For in 1 hour so great riches is come to naught, and every shipmaster, and all the company in ships, and sailors, and as many as trade by sea, stood afar off. And cried when they saw the smoke of her burning, saying, "What city is like unto this great city?" And they cast dust on their heads, and cried, weeping and wailing, saying, "Alas, alas, that great city, wherein were made rich all that had ships in the sea by reason of her costliness. For in 1 hour is she made desolate." And a mighty angel took up a stone like a great millstone, and cast it into the sea, saying, "Thus with violence shall that great city Babylon be thrown down, and shall be found no more at all." and the voice of harpers, and musicians, and of pipers, and trumpeters shall be heard no more at all in thee, and no craftsman, of whatsoever craft he be, shall be found any more in thee, and the sound of a millstone shall be heard no more at all in thee.
Hello and welcome to One Truth Able, friends, and welcome to this broadcast. This broadcast is going to be about the possibility of the Vatican being destroyed. You know, I was just looking at 2012, the video, and it, as I showed earlier before, and it shows the Vatican being struck or being thrown down. And a little bit before that, it shows a pope and two cardinals beside him, and a whole bunch of people, and they have candles, and it really reminded me of when Pope Francis got elected March 13, 2013, and the footage almost looked identical. And I have to wonder if it was somehow prophesied. You know, it is amazing. I'm going to let you see the footage, and you can draw your own conclusion. According to Islamic sources, and according to the Hadith and the writings of Muhammad, the end goal for the believers is to destroy the Vatican, to take it over. And I wonder, if this happens, will this start the beginning of World War III? And will this lead to the great battle of Armageddon in Jerusalem? Through the destruction of Rome? Will the church set its new capital and new palace in Jerusalem? Well, time will tell all. However, I want to share you some Islamic sources sharing you their ultimate goal.
The Pope's coming. Do you want to meet him? Well, I'm Protestant, but I have great respect for the Pope. I like the Pope. I actually like him. He's becoming very political. There's no question about it. But I like him. He seems like a pretty good guy.
So here's the moment. You meet the Pope. Pope Francis comes.
Right.
There's a translator there.
Right.
And he says, oh, Mr. Trump, this is very nice. And then he says, I want to tell him something. The translator says to you, the Pope believes that capitalism can be a real avenue to greed. It can be really toxic and corrupt. And he's shaking his finger at you when he says it. What do you say in response to the Pope?
I'd say ISIS wants to get you. You know that ISIS wants to go in and take over the Vatican. You have heard that. You know that's a dream of theirs to go into Italy.
He talks to you about capitalism? You scare the Pope?
No, I'm going to have to scare the Pope because it's the other thing. There's only one. Look, the Pope, I hope, can only be scared by God.